Hey, what's going on, guys? So I want to share with you guys a quick encouraging message. I'm here just very randomly at Houston International Airport. I didn't think I was going to be here today, but I was really led to just remind you guys of how God is in control and how God will always let you go to your destination despite what happens and despite what circumstances you go through. And just very quickly, I live in Chicago, so I'm on my way home, but I also have a place in Dallas. I work in Dallas and I have ties there, but my family is home and I've been there for some time. And so I live in both places essentially, but I was here for the weekend to take care of some things. And as I was here this morning, there were some circumstances that allowed me to stay later, and I consequently missed my flight. And so I had the last flight, which was like 2 p.m. And they don't have that many flights these days, and I fly a particular airline, and they have it the schedule is very cut short. And so the last flight was 2 p.m. going to Chicago. And I knew I was going to miss it, but I still went, and I just thought and really prayed to the Lord, would you take me home? And I know that you have your intent and your plan to take me home. And this is where I know you need me to be, because I need to work, I need to do things, and I need to get back home, because that's your plan for my life, essentially. And I was thinking that in sort of an abstract way, similar to how many of us, whether it's in your own personal life with your calling, whether it's in the calling for the body of Christ, whether it's your local community, whether it's your global community, the global church, the nation, or whatever it is, God has a destination for a group of people or yourself. And God is going to always allow you to go to your destination if it is His will for your life. But sometimes it's not in the way that you would think. It's not in the process. It's not in the route. It's not in the way or the timing that you think. And even though I thought I would definitely make my flight at 2 p.m., even though I tried myself to do everything that I could, I didn't make it. And I went to the desk, the agent, knowing that there was no other flight. But I asked the person, what are my options? What is it that you can do? And even the person that was talking to me said, there's no other option. You have to go tomorrow. And I figured, and I thought to myself, there's no way. There's got to be at least a one stop. There's got to be something. And even as he was saying no to me, somebody next to them, the other agent behind the counter, had said, just kind of ran up and said, no, there is a way. I think you can get through via, whatever it is. And so this person started looking things up. And again, the flights these days are packed, but for some reason or another, they were able to get me on standby. I was able to get on a flight to Houston, and then as a one-stop, and then go back home to Chicago. And that whole time I was just thinking to myself, Lord, you have my life, you have my route, you have my plan in your hands. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to trust you. All I'm going to do is have faith that you will get me to where I need to go, because that's where I belong. I belong in a place at an appointed time, and it doesn't matter what the route is. It doesn't matter how much time it takes. It doesn't matter that I need to take an extra detour to get there. Even though it was out of my hands, I trust you, and I trust in your timing and how you would get me home. And even now, I'm in Houston, but my next leg from Houston to Chicago is also a standby flight. And so I don't even know if I can make it, but I trust that the Lord would allow me to make it. And so that's where I am. And even in your life, even in the life of a body of believers, even as a country, even as a nation, as a world, whatever the plan is that God has, He will always get us to our destination. And so if you're worried, if you are anxious, if you are confused, if you don't understand what the route is, if you don't understand why it had to take a little bit of a detour, Israelites had to go 40 years in the desert, even though they could have gotten there very quickly in a matter of even weeks or months. Regardless, whatever it is, God has a plan, and we have to just trust and have faith in His plan. And throughout that process, don't fret, don't be concerned, don't be anxious, don't be fearful, and don't do things that is going to disrupt what that plan is. And as much as I tried to get on that flight, and I did my best, but of course this morning, whatever the circumstances I had, and some of the appointments I had didn't end early. And so it just allowed me, and it took an extra amount of time. And so for many people, some things in life are going to take a little bit extra time. There's going to be a little bit of a delay. There's going to be a little bit of a detour. And those things are going to work for the good of us, because whatever plan he has, he knows what's best for us. He knows that it's going to mold us, it's going to train us, it's going to wake us up in some way, it's going to enable us to realize something, it's going to be the best route for us. And so that's why we have to be able to really trust in that. We have to be able to not be anxious, not be fearful, not be so controlling and thinking we got to do it this way, we got to do it that way. And let it go, and let it go to God. And so I want to just remind you guys, as I have been just reminded myself with the route that I'm taking, with the deviation and detour that I'm taking, that the same goes for your life, the same goes for the body of Christ, the same goes for your group of friends, your family, or whatever local community or whatever macro community we're a part of. And so I want to just encourage you guys with that, because keep persevering, keep going, and don't give up. I could have just threw the towel in and said, okay, I'll go tomorrow, I'll go the next day. But the Lord allowed me to just have this opportunity. He allowed me, by some miraculous way, to get on a standby flight. He will now hopefully allow me to go on the next standby flight. And so we just have to trust in Him. We have to trust that God has the best in mind for us. He has the best in mind for your personal life, whatever circumstance that is, whatever circumstance it is for our life holistically as a body of Christ. We need to trust in that. And so I want to encourage you guys with this word, even as I see it in my life. It will, and it is in your life. And God bless you guys. And hopefully I get on this flight, and I'll talk to you guys soon.